Hey everyone, welcome back to the Next.js 13 update tutorial. So today we're going to go through the differences with the app directory and how it's different from the pages directory in terms of building layouts and some of the new tools you have to your disposal. So if we come in here and we open up our app directory, you will see that we now have our global CSS within the same directory as our pages. To start, I'm just going to delete these basic styles that ship with the Next.js application. I'm just going to keep the tailwind stuff because that's all we're going to use in this tutorial. We also then have our layout.tsx file, what we briefly discussed in the last lesson, and our page.tsx file. To start, I'm going to get rid of everything in this as well, just so that we have a blank slate to work from. So I'm going to do h1, and I'm going to do home, and, backslash, and I'm going to do class name, and I'll do text XL, just so that we can all see that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I ran npm run dev in the terminal to get a local development server running, and you can see it over here on localhost 3000, and you can see the content of our page.tsx file. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. Let's, however, go over how this new layout file works. So if I come in here and let's say I created an h2 tag within the body and I called this layout. I save it. You're now going to see that, perfect. The layout is shown above the children prop that is passed in to the layout.tsx file. And that prop is all of the content that is returned from the page.tsx file. Let's now create a separate root for our blog. So I'm going to go in here and create a folder called blog, and within that I'm going to create a page.tsx file. And here I'm just going to quickly populate this with a bit of boilerplate. Okay, so now if we go to our search bar and I add blog onto the end of it as our slug, perfect. So now you'll see our blog, but you'll also still see our layout. So our root layout is persistent across the entire app and will be shown on every single root within it. You might have noticed that I didn't just go in here and create a blog.tsx file right in the app directory, and you used to be able to do that with the pages directory. However, now all roots have to be defined by the actual folder name that they are in. Something we can also take advantage in the new version is we can use nested layouts. So I'm going to come into our blog here and I'm going to do a layout.tsx. That will pretty quickly throw an error. I'm going to come to our root layout and I'm just going to grab all of this. We have to get rid of the HTML and body elements. And I'm just going to wrap this in a main tag. Okay, perfect. So now we can see that we can have nested layouts within our project. So a good example of this is I'm going to make another h2 and I'm going to call this blog layout. Perfect, so now we can see both. So a good way of imagining how this could be helpful is, say you have in your blog root on the right side, you want to have a separate side panel that shows all the recent posts, for example. This would be a good place to put that component. So now that we know how the basics of layouts work, we're going to go through how the new loading component works. So I'm going to create a new file called loading.tsx, has to be named that, and then I'm going to just quickly create something similar to what we did before with just a simple h tag. The loading component also can't have any props. Loading ... Perfect. So now if you see here, when we refresh our blog, nothing happens, it's all the same. But if I go into our blog page and I mark this as asynchronous, and let's just await something basic. So await new promise. I'm just going to set a timeout for 5 seconds. That will resolve that promise. Okay, perfect. So, perfect. Loading, 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 and then blog. So, whenever we refresh this page, it'll wait 5 seconds, and then it will render the actual page content. What is this? Right here. So this should have given you a good basic understanding of how to build layouts within the app directory. This will give you everything you need to know if you're just building static content. However, if you're using Next.js, I'm sure you're not wanting just static content. So in the next tutorial, we're going to talk about different data fetching strategies within Next 13 because it's very different from Next.js 12, and we're going to talk about how to do that effectively. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe, and if you want the code for this lesson, you can find it in my GitHub. The link's in the description. And yeah, have a good one.